Hello guys, and here is the next episode with some of the most interesting urban development news from around the world I've met in recent days. Today is our Jubilee episode number 40. I make these episodes weekly, so subscribe to the channel not to miss the future content. And before we start, I'd like to thank to all my amazing Patreon supporters. A proposal for a redesign of Fifth Avenue, the first one in 200 years, to make it more pedestrian-friendly was presented in New York City by Field Operations. The plan covers the section from South Central Park to Bryant Park, widening sidewalks by 46% and reducing the number of traffic lanes from 5 to 3. And the city claims that the plan will pay for itself in less than 5 years through increased property tax and sales tax revenues. In addition to the mentioned economic benefits, the redesign aims to address an existing spatial imbalance as 70% of Fifth Avenue's current daily traffic is pedestrians. The new plan also improves safety by reducing the length of pedestrian crossings by 1/3 along the route. A greening effect is provided by adding more than 230 new trees and 20,000 square feet of flower beds that provide shade and prevent flooding, as well as adding new benches and improved lighting, making the busy corridor a safer environment for New Yorkers in general. The preliminary design is expected to be ready by summer 2025. The budget and construction timeline haven't been published by the city, although the New York Times and other publications report that construction could begin in early 2028 if the proposal is approved. India plans to launch production of locally designed high-speed trains. These trains, which will be the first to be designed and built entirely in India, are designed to reach speeds up to 280 km per hour and will be the major step in the development of Indian high-speed railways. The trains will be equipped with air conditioning, modern information systems, places for passengers with disabilities, and other important features. The contract was signed with the company named BMUL, which now have to design and produce 2 such trains. Each train will consist of 8 cars and their delivery is scheduled for the end of 2026. And at the same time, India's first high-speed rail line is currently under construction between the cities of Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Well, in general, as for me, it is a very challenging task to design and build a high-speed train completely from scratch in 2 years, so I have a feeling that the development will still be based on some existing high-speed trains, possibly Japanese ones, but this is purely my guess. In the Polish capital Warsaw, they opened a new building for the Modern Art Museum, which I mentioned in this video. For almost 2 decades, the museum has been operating in temporary locations, but now it has a permanent home in a new building designed by New York architect Thomas Pfeiffer and built next to the Warsaw Palace of Culture and Science. The new building has a total area of 20,000 square meters spread over 6 levels, 2 which are underground, including 4,500 square meters of exhibition spaces, as well as educational and conservation facilities, art storage, cinema, auditorium, cafe, and shop. And the museum's location, as well as its design, has been a point of dispute since the project was first unveiled in 2019. The wide, rectangular building made of concrete with no decorations and only a few windows has been criticized as unoriginal and out of place in the surrounding area, as well as blocking the view of the Palace of Culture and Science. Notably, in the 1990s, the first museum's director, Anna Rothenberg, asked Frank Gehry, the legendary American architect responsible for the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain, to design a building for the Warsaw Museum as well. But although Gehry agreed to do it for free, the idea didn't find the support among the authorities at the time. Another project of museum building was presented in 2010 by the Swiss architect Christian Keris, but it also wasn't realized due to disagreements with the city authorities. So now it's a third attempt actually. I'm not against modern architecture in general, but to be honest, I'm not excited about this specific building based on the photos, of course. Although maybe it feels different in real life. In this regard, for example, I like the new theater building in the Chilean city of Concepcion much better. It is also quite minimalist, it is also white, but it doesn't look so utilitarian. So, if Warsaw residents are watching me, please let us know what you think about this new museum. The Cross River Rail project in Brisbane, Australia has passed a key milestone as the train traveled for the first time through one of the twin tunnels under the city center for almost 4 kilometers. Moving at a speed of about 5 kilometers per hour, the train went from the main yard to the new platform of the Roma Street metro station. The trip was a test of the project's concept in general and allowed several important operations to take place, including testing of the train's overhead power systems and the safety of traffic through the tunnel. Overall, the tunnels are expected to be completed in 2025 and start serving passengers in 2026. Cross River Rail is a new 10.2-kilometer line that includes 5.9 kilometers of twin tunnels running under the Brisbane River and city center, with 4 new underground stations at Boga Road, Wollongabba, Albert Street and Roma Street. The project also includes a new surface station at Exhibition, reconstruction of 7 stations between Dutton Park and Salisbury, construction of 3 new stations on the Gold Coast, and building 2 new train depots. And right away, another news from Brisbane, where the first line of high-speed buses under the Brisbane Metro brand has started operating recently. Now, on line 169, which connects 8 Mile Plains with UQ Lakes, operate 3-section has light tram electric buses, 24 meters long, which can carry up to 170 passengers. These buses run at 5-minute intervals, and now the line's capacity has increased by 50%. Previously, this line carried up to 14,000 passengers on weekdays, and with the launch of the Brisbane Metro, this number will increase to more than 21,000. The launch of line 169 precedes the start of Metro lines 1 and 2, which are currently being negotiated with the Queensland government. Metro 1 will run from 8 Mile Plains to Roma Street, and Metro 2 from the Royal Brisbane Hospital and Women's Hospital to UQ Lakes Station. And the launch of Brisbane's new bus network is set to match the launch of the Metro, which will increase the capacity of Brisbane's bus routes by 30 million passenger trips annually. This news is a pure naming confusion. Buses of the light tram model are operating in a system called the Metro. If there is also a real metro on rails somewhere, I don't even know how to tell you about it without confusing anyone and getting confused myself. The Swiss company Stadler and Utah Transportation Authority have signed a contract to supply up to 80 light rail vehicles to operate on UTA TRAX lines in and around Salt Lake City. And Stadler will build these new rail cars at its Salt Lake City plant, which has already built, for example, new trains for the Caltrain line in San Francisco. At the same time, this will be Stadler's first major light rail contract in North America and its first contract in Utah. The initial deal of $129 million for 20 new Stadler CityLink light rail cars is partially funded by a grant from the Federal Transit Administration, and pending additional funding includes options for 60 more units. These new trams will primarily replace the oldest Siemens SD100 wagons built in 1998 and will also supplement the fleet for future route extensions. By the way, in general, the light rail system in Salt Lake City has been operating since 1999. Now it consists of 3 lines, and I have a separate video about it on my channel, which I highly recommend you to watch. In Paris, tramline T1 is preparing to start operating the new TW20 trams from Alstom by the end of 2024. Operating since 1992, the line is the oldest of Paris's modern tram lines and is currently undergoing a modernization with a focus on accessibility and passenger comfort. The new trams have 6 double doors, 1.3 meters wide, specially designated seats, and deployable ramps to accommodate passengers with reduced mobility. They also have 15% more capacity than the old models currently in use on the T1 line. Passenger service with the new trams is scheduled to begin at the end of this year. Metro BH company has started construction of the second metro line in Belo Horizonte, which will be 10.5 kilometers long and include 7 stations. One of these new stations will be connected to the first metro line, which has been in operation since 1986. Currently, the first line carries about 100,000 passengers daily, which highlights its key role in the city's transportation system. The second metro line is expected to be launched by 2029, which will significantly improve the city's transportation links. It will be operated by 24 4-car trains ordered from the Chinese company CRRC. The first train is expected to arrive to Brazil in early 2026. And in addition to the new line, the outdated rolling stock on the first metro line will also be replaced, which will improve passenger comfort as the old trains are not air-conditioned. Metro BH has also signed a contract with Alstom to supply a train control system for both metro lines, which will improve the safety and efficiency of the transportation. Transdev Netherlands has placed an order for 96 Solaris Urbino electric buses, and this fleet will serve public transportation in the province of Utrecht in the central part of the Netherlands. This contract is a part of the company's strategy to replace its entire fleet in Utrecht with zero-emission vehicles. Currently, the city operates 50 bus lines that serve 30 million passengers annually. And that's all the news for this time. Thanks for watching and see you next week.